All righty, Roo folks. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We already have people in the chat. Look at that. We got our good friend, Mr. Fulgen Henry's in the house. What is up, Fulgen? Appreciate you stopping in, my friend. Of course, we got a few other people stopping in and saying hello. So, Mr. Anthony Ant Reed, how are you, sir? Of course, Mr. Brian Schulman. There's a familiar face. Here's a new one. Mohammed, thank you for stopping in and saying hello. And there's this gorgeous face right here, Mr. Tim Sohn. How are you, sir? So is this like a thing? Yes, it is, Mr. Posner. If you would tune in and watch, you would know. But this is only episode number 2, so you're good, brother. You're forgiven. So we are live, folks. So let's get started before we get into everything else. And of course, hello, Mr. Kenneth Dunner Jr. I know I saw you in here somewhere. Comments are going quick, fast. We got to keep up. Okay. Thank you. Yes. And they're saying hello to you, Miss Nancy Deborah. Our guest is waiting in the green room. So, all right, guys, if you are tuning in for the first time, thank you so very much. This is episode number 2 of Unfiltered Live. Thank you for everybody who tuned in last night for our season 1 episode premiere. We're going to have a very, very good run. So I'm pretty excited for the lineup of guests we got going on this week. And everybody that's just been showing up and being here, I do appreciate it so much. And of course, there's just so many people that want to say hello to you. So real quick before we do, let's get all the particulars out of the way like we usually do, folks. If you're checking us out on YouTube, you can go to our YouTube page and you can check us out there on YouTube. There, right there, you see it right there, the Gabe Leo Experience. If you're going over there on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and follow the channel. We are still trying to build our viewership there to get over 1,000 so we can customize our URL, help a brother out. Go over there, like the comment, hit the notification bell. We'll let you know whenever we are live, whenever we schedule new lives, and whenever we have new content on the channel. So if you're checking us out over there, thank you so much. And of course, our beloved LinkedIn platform. Thank you so much for the LinkedIn fam showing up here. You guys are, man, you're bringing it hot and fast. And look at there, Miss Anita Sonia's already here. Miss Sonia, we call her. Saying hello and dropping in the comments. So guys, before we get any further, let's go ahead and say hello to everybody showing up like we have. And we're going to say a little word from our sponsor. So guys, if you want to sponsor the show, please reach out to me. I am open to taking on sponsors right now. But the Inky Black team is the one that created my logo. So let's show them a little love. Miss Dana Fellows and Mr. Guy Graves over there at Inky Black. Thank you so much. All right, folks. So, you know what? I was going to give a long, elongated intro for this woman, but you guys know her. She's been on, but you can catch her every Wednesday and Saturdays along with her co-host, Mr. Brian Schulman, on What's Good Wednesday. If you haven't tuned in, you need to turn it out. It's so wonderful. Such a lovely audience over there. And, of course, the Shout Out Saturday. So, guys, let's go ahead and give a nice round of applause to our guest for this evening, Miss Nancy Deborah Barrows. Hello. Let me unmute you. Hold on. Okay, hello. There you go. I think I muted you.
How are you?
I am doing wonderful. So it's been a while since we've actually had it. Well, before we do that, I want to do this real quick. Let's give you a round of applause. Thank you, everybody. Yes. Okay. Yes, it has been a while since. Oh gosh, it's almost been a year and a half.
Yeah, seriously, we're well due for a whole bunch of fun.
We are, but
Some
you know what?
people call it getting in trouble, but I call it just a whole bunch of fun.
Hey, but I want to tell you this. Part of the good thing that I've in that year and a half is like seeing you like come really glow and flourish into again, being named as one of LinkedIn's 50 most influential people on the platform. So there is something to be said for being in a, for being on the platform, number one, and then showing up and sharing a lot about who you are, and what you do. And of course, yes. And then starting different movements, getting things put out there into the world that people resonate with. So let's start a little bit with that. Let's start about what, first of all, the hashtag that Mr. Tim Sohn has shared, radiating real. What would you describe that as to people who are unfamiliar with that is? And let's expand on that a little bit so people can really know what that means. I want people to know this.
Absolutely. My pleasure. And I am so ADD that I am trying so hard not to look at the comments and not look at you. And so I just like if I have this dead stare into the camera, like that's why, because I try to be so focused. But thank you for being here, and thank you for everyone else. I see some names. I was able to get back to some people. Please know my heart. Please know that if I try to do more than one thing at a time, it becomes somewhat of a disaster. So that's just what's happening now. Radiating Real. Radiating Real was born from my own experience. Truly, it was something that I experienced and then decided, well, I need to share this. So backstory on me, for people who don't know me, I came onto LinkedIn, it's actually less than 2 years ago. And when I did, I started with a week after being on the platform live for the XXO Connect 24-hour telethon, which you were a big part of, I know. And the platform was all about connection over convenience. And so I was on my segment talking about my childhood trauma. And I realized mid-sentence, like, Nancy, you are part of the problem. And my story is hard to receive, and I give everyone permission to have it hit them however it does without judgment. But in that moment, I decided I'm just going to say it, because if I can't talk about it, nobody else is going to. And I shared that I had been sexually abused by my grandfather until I was 16 years old. It ended due to a mandated reporter, and the secret that I had carefully kept because it felt like my life depended on it was unleashed and out of my control. How I developed an eating disorder, became anorexic, how I confronted my grandfather at 20 years old and then had my first major depressive episode, dropped out of college, and keep going and going and going. And that for the first time in that moment, it wasn't that I didn't talk about my experience with people I knew, but I had never entrusted it to other people who I didn't know. I didn't know who was listening. I didn't know you personally. I didn't know your face. It had legs of its own. It was going to do what it was going to do. And even having it be that small bit of holding back, a couple of things happened. First of all, I didn't realize how much of a burden it was, even keeping that much of it secret. I had no idea that my story was impressive or remarkable. I had lived my story. I always knew. I talked about the ugly, snotty, unsexy parts because I full on recognized that if I would have seen me right now when I was 20 years old, I would have flipped me off. And, it's an evening show. I would have said, fuck you, bitch. You don't get it. You're fine. You're fine. Look at you. You're on shows. You're whatever, right? You didn't understand that I was still in my bathrobe for day 3 and on the floor and, cried myself to sleep and have the tissue still in my bed. Like, it just was so important to me to share all of it. And so I started doing that. And what people were talking about, yes, they were incredibly supportive and loving and kind and, just the most amazing response to sharing something so vulnerable and intimate and private. Not so much private as personal. I thought of it as private, but it really was personal. It didn't have to be private. And people were talking about how real and genuine. And I know we hear these words a lot, right? Real and genuine and authentic. But that was the response I was getting, which made me realize, well, that must not happen that often. So we need more of that. And hashtag radiating real came from there, from saying, take your mask off, allow yourself to receive that unconditional love and acceptance and feel how great it is. And I will say with 100% accuracy so far, no one has ever come back to me and said, I wish I never did it. I've been told amazing things have happened from there. I've just seen transformation in clients and friends and people and companies that I work with. And I'm so incredibly proud of it because it was something for me that was such a hard point to get to, and to support others in doing that and creating a movement that was all about that. And it started with like, take a picture of yourself first thing when you wake up in the morning, because to me, like, that's a pretty vulnerable place to be. And as time's gone on, it's sort of been like, take a picture. Who am I to tell you when you're radiating real? And post it and talk about, was it hard to do? Was it easy to do? What was on your mind? And, just let people know, tag me, hashtag radiating real, and let us show up for you. um, Enjoy that, like I said, that unconditional love and acceptance, which most of us start wearing those masks from a very early age. I mean, I had worn them for as long as I could remember. The first time I consciously remember wearing it was in fourth grade, when I was brought into the principal's office and told I wasn't working up to my potential. And it became clear to me that, well, okay, well, if that makes you uncomfortable, the easiest way to make you comfortable is to make my outside match what you expect, and don't worry about the inside, because you won't ask about that. And many of us do that because it's just either what we've been taught. It is part of what society teaches families. I am the one who, in my pajamas, went to the end of my mom's driveway to pick up the paper, and she was mortified. And so I stood at the end of the driveway and I said, I am Nancy Barrows. I am the daughter of Maxine Licker. She lives in this house. And yes, I'm in my pajamas. Like, it was just this whole, I inherited some of that from my family culture, not just society around us, and being able to let go of it, and remind people that private and personal are different. Personal is very powerful, so is private, but that's not real. We don't crack open our chest and tell every secret we have to anyone we meet, or to perfect strangers. True. Sharing our personal selves is really where we connect in that vulnerability, to heart, person to person. And with today's climate more than ever, we are looking from the other side of it, not only for our personal relationships, but for our business relationships and client relationships. We want to do business with someone who, like, if they are 10 minutes late to our call and they say, oh my gosh, I was walking out of the house and the cat decided to puke, I'm going to go, totally get it. People who know me have heard me say a million times, I do not accept apologies for living life or being human. Right. And that's really, for me, that's the bottom line. If I can make people feel seen, heard, valued, and loved, and let them know that living life and being human, not always pretty, always valuable, always worth it, always show up as you are, then I'm like a hugely lucky human to have the ability to share that with others.
No, and that's a beautiful thing, like how that has kind of flourished from the first conversation that you ever had with yourself, like coming in here and onto the LinkedIn platform and doing these things, to coming to a realization of what it actually has grown into and what you've done to help other people. I mean, I wish I could pull the comment up. I should have started, but Mr. Tim Sohn had put in there that he, Radiating Real had kind of changed his sort of life, his trajectory of what it is. And that's what this is all about. Like, coming onto these shows, having these conversations, sharing these things, because they kind of, again, they kind of start almost, I don't want to say develop, right? Uh-oh, we're getting phone calls.
This is live. This is human. Don't apologize for it. This is living life.
Okay, so where was I? Oh, but anyway, what I was saying is that, these sort of movements and things like this, that kind of open up, they start out as something just like an inner conversation with yourself, right? It's just something that you come to a realization of, and then you start kind of saying, you know what, if I'm dealing with this, if I'm talking about this, then, I wonder if it affects, what I'm going through is someone else going through, and how can I bring that out into the open and start sharing that with other people. So that's what you've done with Radiating Real. And of course, kind of what you've done as well with, we can unpack a little bit what the Chick and the Toolbelt is, with the Toolbelt, excuse me. Sorry, misspoke. But kind of open up what that is for you, as far as what you've been able to do. Again, reaching out, using your stories and your experiences now to go out and start finding ways to take those things and start bringing them out to other people and showing them a different way to kind of connect and grow, so because you're doing this yourself. I mean, you're going through it yourself. You're learning these processes yourself, and it's great to kind of go through them and then start sharing them with other people and using those experiences. So um, where did that kind of come from and develop out of, to say, I don't want to start doing this and coming up with this brand? I want to hear this story.
Absolutely. And I'm just going to quickly say thank you to Tim, who hearing that from people, just, I
Oh.
don't think I'll ever get used to it. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy that I can remain, sort of, I don't get desensitized to that if I've helped someone, that's a huge thing. And to thank him, because September 10th, I'm actually giving the keynote address at his in-person event, showing up perspectives on cancer. And again, all because I showed up, all because I radiated real. Um, and yeah, Chick With The Toolbelt was an extension of it. It came from, it's all based on my experience and my tools
Mm-hmm.
and all these tools that I have. And we'll see people post like, what tools do you have for self-care? What tools do you have for when you're over? What tools do you use even for your posting and your calendar? And right, we all are looking to have that tool belt, that we have different options to pull out in different situations, things that we feel like we have, a command of and are effective for us. And so um, I didn't realize I had these skills. I thought this was just me. This has always just been me. People talk to me. I'm sort of like really good at the how to eat an elephant. You tell me where you're going and what's going on, and I can see it. And I can Sherpa. That's why it's not so much coaching. Like, it's already in you. I'm just taking the journey with you. And sometimes that's all we need, right? Is someone with us to help us see things differently and propose different questions or give us different tools. And so just from hearing other people say that actually this is a valuable skill that you have and something you do that's, not everybody can do this. And I was talking to my BFF, Raquel Boris, and she's like, yeah, you're kind of like the chick with the tool belt. So that's where the name came from. But
Mm.
the whole idea is helping people find their voice. It's really goes back to this, like, who are you? Getting comfortable with that. How do you want to share your voice? Because not everybody shares their voice the same way. And how to use that as a powerful tool, not only to build our communities, but a robust, lasting revenue stream if we're looking to grow our businesses, and how that works, and, those kinds of things. And a lot of it is, giving people permission to be themselves, doing activities with them that really open their mind to different perspectives. One of the things I love doing with clients, whether it be individuals or businesses, corporations, is ask friends to email you. Pick 4 or 5 of your good, close people who love you and ask them, like, what about you do they love? What about you? What about the relationship? And it goes to, one of the things about Radiating Real is it eliminates imposter syndrome, right? If you're real, there's nothing to look behind the curtain. And sometimes we forget who we are and our brains try to tell us otherwise. And so when we have people who love us reflect back to us how they see us, it's a gift. And for me, as I share with clients, is, when I'm the one looking in the mirror and speaking to myself in an unhealthy, unkind way, the little voice in my head says, are you smarter than everyone you know? Because you have at least 4 or 5 people who have told you X, Y, and Z. And apparently you think you know better. So walk away, remember, right? Remember what's true and helpful, and know that there's this piece of you that sometimes you don't see it, and getting to see that is a powerful thing. And how can you share that with others if you can't see it for yourself? So a lot of the program is, a lot of people don't share because of fear, a million different fears. And the thing is, you can be fearful and powerful at the same time. So
Mm.
I don't know if I actually answered your question, but it came from me being me, not realizing that yes, it is just me, but it's me from years of experience. And, coming from my speech language pathology background, specializing in what we call, social cognition, social thinking, relationship building, it just all sort of worked together. I'm a school-based speech language pathologist. I have a private practice in Los Angeles, and that's what I was. Right.
Mm.
That's who I was. I had no idea that I had a passion or purpose or was meant to be a host of Connected Human Conversations, a live show where we take on taboo. I didn't know I was meant to be a co-host of 2 global award-winning weekly live shows. I didn't even know live shows were a thing. I didn't know that I was a person who was going to start a movement, be a keynote speaker, or help so many people and businesses find that aha moment, that piece of them.
Yeah.
And it was because I showed up. It was all because I showed up. And if you go through my content, you'll see there's posts about my depression. There's
Mm-hmm.
posts about being elated about victories, and there's silly stuff about who I am just in life. It's just me. And I can't say enough the power of showing up as you, taking that mask off and radiating real. Because you said earlier about one of the top 50 most impactful people on LinkedIn, which is crazy still to me.
Yeah.
Um, Digesting that, I know I've helped many, but to be one of the top 50 and to be voted on by your peers. And I love it because to me, it's the Cinderella story that everyone can relate to. I
Mm-hmm.
came onto LinkedIn 10 months later, I'm named top 50 most impactful people. How does that happen? I showed up. I didn't worry about metrics. I didn't worry about when I posted or how I posted. I just showed up. And even more so when I started to get burned out and started to show up differently,
Mm-hmm.
even after doing that, people still said, no, this woman has had a profound impact on my life. And so it shows you that being you is powerful. It shows you that there are so many different ways. You don't have to be here every day. You don't have to, be on everyone's show commenting. You don't have to be posting everywhere. You just need to show up as you. And you need to make these great connections that are really heart connections. And I didn't have a million numbers. I had 2,500 followers, which if you look at some of the people on LinkedIn, that's, a drop in the bucket. But they were people who I spent time getting to know, who I had interactions with. And so they knew my heart, and I had the opportunity to be in their life in a way maybe somebody else hadn't been
Yeah.
before.
And hey, look, um, it goes back to a few things that you said that you were talking about, like, um, and I've mentioned a few of these as well. Like, impact doesn't have to be with numbers, right? It can be with the things that you say, the things that you do, the actions that you take, right? Those are the real important things, right? Not so much like saying you can, again, even creating content. You can create content, but how impactful is it to the people that you're actually putting it out there to? Like, what are
And
you,
that's it.
go
The
ahead.
only number you need is one, right? One person.
That's where I was
What?
alluding to,
There
right?
you go. And it's one of the reasons I'm consistently inconsistent. I can tell you that. I'm consistently inconsistent with almost everything I do on the platform because it's about when I'm inspired, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I try to force myself to post, it's going to feel that way. If I'm posting something because I'm truly thinking about it or genuine or inspired, or it's just what's going on in my life, and I believe that other people who are human and living life probably are experiencing something like this or have, and then I post. And it's great because we all get to be the person who's maybe a couple of steps ahead of someone. And because we choose to show up real, radiating real, and being honest about life, we also get to be the inspiration for someone who's maybe not where we are yet. And that's a powerful chain to keep going.
Right. Like, so a statement like this. There's Miss Charlene Brown said, I needed to hear this tonight.
Hmm.
Sometimes that's all it takes, right? It's just, again, we were mentioning, who was I speaking with? We were talking about how 10 people can have the same message. We can have the exact same message written down on an index card. We can read it off to one person, but out of those 10, one of those people will probably resonate with somebody, right, in a different way that I couldn't, that you couldn't, that this. So that's why I say it's okay to keep putting your voice out there, keep sharing these things. Like, it might sound like you've heard this before. You might heard it regurgitated before. That's okay. That's not the point. The point is the message that you're putting out there, and how it
Um,
and how it can get to people, right? And that's the whole thing about it, is that, um, you keep saying these things, you keep doing these things over and over again, and then it starts actually getting to people, right? It starts getting to where they need it to be. And they again, right place, right time, right moment. That's all it really matters. So it's not so much that I have to have 10,000 followers to say, I got a message that I'm going to share. Your message, again, has to be just to one. And that's all
Right.
that
And
really
you don't
matters.
have to have a completely unique idea. Right? This is the abundance mentality. And you were just talking about it. If 10 people say it, we're all going to resonate with different people. There are nearly 8 billion people on the platform. And we're going to hear things from different people at different times, and they're going to resonate with different people. And that's why we all need to do what we're doing, right? If your calling is to do something, but you feel like everybody else is doing it, take that thought out of your head, because nobody's going to do it exactly like you are. And that means that you're going to resonate. You're going to connect with people that somebody else won't. And that abundance mentality allows us to give away your tools, give away your tips. Don't worry. There's always going to be more people. And when you put it out there, whether someone hears it now, a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, it's going to reach the people who need to hear it when they need to hear it. I'm always stumped by the question of like, tell us who you are and what you do. The one thing I know for sure is I'm human. Right. It's the one thing I know. And some days I wonder about that. But,
Right.
I'm human and I experience life. I'm living life. I was given this life to live and I'm living it. And living it means it's all sorts of ugly, snotty, and unsexy at times. And sometimes I'm the prom queen riding a unicorn. There's the whole variation of it. And those moments, while they may not seem big or important to us, really can inspire someone else. And I lost my train of thought when I said prom queen riding a unicorn, because where did that come from? But
Thinking about unicorns.
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, we each have our experience, our place. And so you show up, you put you out there.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be someone, defining myself. I can't define myself. Like, what do I do? Who's my perfect client? Someone who's ready, someone who wants to, someone who's excited to, scared to, who knows, who's frustrated. I just know that it's the right person, that the universe crosses our paths at the right time. And that, who am I? I'm someone who wants people to be seen, heard, loved, and valued. Like, that's the best I can say. And so when asked to define myself in these moments, that's challenging to me, because I really believe that in each moment we meet each other where we're at, and we're meant to meet one another, and we both give and take exactly what it is the other human needs, right? And it doesn't matter if it's the first time you meet, or like, we haven't been live in a year and a half. Okay, so there's probably something tonight that's different from the last time, and we're here taking from one another and giving to one another whatever it is we need, even if we don't know what we needed. And same is true for everybody watching, whether live, replay, if you're in the comments, if you're not commenting. It's true for all of us. And that's the power of showing up, and that power of personal content. Again, I saw somebody put that they were from San Francisco. I'm like, hey, SoCal, right? Already I feel a connection. You say that you like cats. Okay, you put that out there. I'm a cat lady.
It's a cat lady.
Cat lady. I never knew that a little gray cat was going to be part of my branding, but there you go, a little gray cat. But I know if I post that, people who respond, I immediately have something in common with them. And that's a beautiful way to build a community. And people think, oh my gosh, what am I going to say? Well, again, if you tell us your favorite ice cream in the comments now, where you're from, the name of your first pet, whatever it is, something about you, you've just shared personal content. It doesn't have to be something like my story, and it doesn't have to be your whole story.
No, absolutely not. And even if your story is not one that is triumphant, right? People, it doesn't have to have, you don't always have to have the victory story. Not everybody's going to be a champion. Not everyone, that's where sometimes that's where the lessons lie, is in those stories, right? And
the learning is in the struggle.
Exactly. Right. And that's part of it. We all go through it. I mean, I think that's where we learn a lot about ourselves, right? And where we figure out. Yeah.
And right. We learn the people who step forward and the people who step away. And that's super important to know as well. And sorry, I keep cutting you off because, I'm a talker and all.
Oh, I know.
Trust me. Good. To cut me back off, off just in return.
Trust me.
Yes, we talk about, do you have it queued up, the clip when I was first with you telling my story live?
Oh,
And
no, believe me, okay, here's the problem. My
I
catalog
love
goes
that.
back, my catalog goes back about 350.
So let me just describe it to everyone so you really
Yes.
understand how real works. And I love this moment, truly,
Yes.
because I was starting to share my story. It was early on, and you had me on as a guest for the first time by myself. I had jumped on with people.
Yeah.
And to help me feel less nervous, my friends decided that they would change their names.
Yes.
And they were all commenting as me,
As you, as,
as me, then as you, and then
uh,
as each other. It was just all and they were putting things that were really funny in the comments. And
yes.
so Gabe and I are both watching them and laughing.
Going
And
like,
I don't even remember what it was that came up, but something hit you and you
oh,
just couldn't stop
that was,
laughing.
it was okay. So this was Reggie Waterman.
Yes.
He
Shout
put,
out to Reggie,
Re,
Raquel, and Brian. Reggie
yes.
Waterman, Raquel Boris, and Brian
So
Schulman.
Reggie put himself as OJ Simpson.
That's
And
and
he
I just did it. And so here's the thing. This is just show you how real Gabe and I are. Literally on his show, I'm a guest for the first time, and I say, just turn around,
yes.
and don't look. And I told my story. So it goes to show you that these are the people, right, who step forward with you. These
Yes.
are the people who help you through those hard moments. And this is life, right? It's that here I am going through this hard content, but there's humor along with it, which guess what a perfect illustration of what life really is.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I've posted about talking to myself 3-4 days in a row about taking a shower
Yeah.
and what the inner conversation is. And I can post that and have some levity to it, understanding it's serious, but that we need that balance. I am far from perfect. I struggle with my mood on a regular basis. That's
Who
something I
doesn't?
talk about.
Who
Right. I
doesn't?
talk about it all the time. There's
I mean,
this.
isn't that is all of us, like, wake up in the morning and that's what we do, is we question ourselves. Like, that is like almost the first thing that some of us do when we wake up in the morning is like, why did I get up? Like,
Mhm.
questioning yourself is like where, look, everything is not set in stone. Even with somebody who has a very stringent routine, right? Even then, there are times where we got to ask ourselves these questions. Like, I love this one, Jacob, great one.
Jacob,
Is
go ahead.
this life is real? Yes.
Right. Yes, this is real life. And shout out to you for taking all of your showers butt naked. That's genius. I'm gonna have to try that.
Right. That's probably why the struggle's a little bit harder, is because, you're like, do I take a shower with or without the clothes? I mean,
Well, yeah. I
it's
mean, if you
15.
take it without, you're gonna be cold. So you
Right.
gotta decide, right? It's sort of
Right.
like
I mean, there's so many decisions, like what shampoo,
yeah,
what conditioner. Do I want the water hot?
body
Do I want it
wash, bar
cold?
soap,
Yeah, exactly. Right. So
scrubby gloves or puff.
I can see why it gets exhausted before you even turn the water on. You're like, you know what?
And
Fuck it.
literally, I
I'm gonna
do.
go sit
Like,
down.
I will stand there being like, just turn the water on. Just get in. Get in. You can do this. You can do this, and walk away. And it's like, okay, the next day, okay, come on. Like, really, you can do this. Like, you're just going to get in there and turn on the water. Get in, turn on the water first, then get in. No, just get in, walk away
Right.
until whatever it is. There's been times that I do it, and it's day 3, and I'm like, I sit on the floor of the shower because I don't even have the energy to stand in there, but I do it. And I remind myself that I get to shower. I get to have the struggle. I get to be learning.
Yeah, Deborah. Look,
And I
Deborah.
get to have these experiences to share with others, right? I get to just even changing a little bit of the language. I'm going to dance a little bit. Bath or shower, Deborah, that's right. And there's some singing going on. I hear some P. Diddy. I'm so
Bubbles.
distracted by the chat right now.
That's okay.
I
That's
saw,
okay.
I saw cheesecake. I,
uh,
I,
okay.
Alvin talks to his veggies before he eats them. I talk to both animate and inanimate objects. I will ask my plants if they want to move. Like
Okay.
I'm.
And well,
This is who
look,
I am.
that's not really strange. The strange part is do they answer?
Well,
So
of course they do.
okay.
They do in their own way. Like when it starts growing in one direction, I'm like, hey, would you like me to turn you? Like,
Yeah,
would you like to
yeah.
go that way? No problem. I also catch and release spiders in my house. I have a very overdeveloped sense of empathy, which I'm proud of. I know people like me, like you, have been made to feel ashamed of our empathy. Like, we're dramatic, we feel too much. Forget that. We're only too much for people who don't yet see the greatness in themselves and their ability to be vulnerable and present and available. So listen, yeah, I talk to my plants. I do a lot of things. I don't even think it makes me weird or strange. It just makes me me.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to get okay with being me and like the person I am. And so I'm radiating real. I'm not hiding this girl anymore. Uh-oh, who said what?
I'm just so Dan Roth's going to be a guest on the show, and he's like, I'm going to turn off the comments because
Yes, yes, yes. I should just be in the guest chat and not be
it's just
looking at
not
them.
even in the
It's
show.
so fun, and I love all you people because it's just this is what I love about this community, right? They can
Right.
go from like total heartfelt support to silly back to like each and every one of them brings who they are, and they share. Like, I always say, thank you for sharing you with us. I wouldn't want it any other way, but I will say it's very, if you're like me, it's like,
It
it's
is.
very,
It's
yeah.
It's the whole squirrel thing. You're like, squirrel.
Oh yeah. I like, hey, look green, something shiny. At lunch. No, my mommy lets me chew bubble gum.
There you go.
You know what it is? And I wish I could remember it offhand. For those of you who ever watched the Gilmore Girls,
Mm-hmm.
there's a rant that Brian Shimon, I know you can find this for me, Tim Sohn, that Lorelai has about when she's trying to write, where her brain goes. And I remember that the last part is like rattlesnake, hockey puck, monkey, monkey underpants. Like, that's where her brain goes. Like, somebody was writing down my inner talk and put it on TV. So wait, you haven't been a guest speaker on 100 Days with Sonia. Fixed.
I know I got to get on. And look, so I'm going to be honest. I put a lot of things off because I knew I had to do 100. I know what she went through to do 100,
Yeah.
line up 100 people. So I'm like, I'm doing 100 people to kind of
You
line
don't
up as
put
well.
things off. You prioritize to your well-being
Mm-hmm.
and the success of everything that you are developing.
Of course. And that's the best thing is like, look, this, like the whole community that shows up here and the people that come up and show up in the comments and that are always around, right? Those are, to me, those are just as vital as the graphics and everything else that's part of the show, right? Because to
Well,
me,
you could all look pretty, and if you've got no one there.
they're exactly.
Mhm.
And I want them to feel again, like this is their show. They're part of the community here. I want them to feel like this is everything to all of us. It's not just one of us is doing this. So yes, no,
I'm not making excuses for him, Jacob. I would never do that.
yes.
I tell it as it is. I'm just rephrasing. Our language is powerful. Words are powerful used. So I'm a big,
Or do
speech language pathologist, but also, yeah.
it is. But here's the fun thing that
Yeah, what Brian said. Yeah, what Gabe said. Yeah, what Brian said. Yeah, what Jacob said. We're doing well. And yes,
right.
I am talking about underpants.
Here's the fun thing, okay, is that no
Yep.
matter what, the conversation always comes from one place, whether it's joking or whether it's deep. It always comes from the heart. And that's the most important thing about any of these conversations that we have for folks is it is not just, yes, we like to joke around. We like to have shenanigans. We like to have fun because I see that humor is just as much as part of me as sharing the open, vulnerable side of what I do as well.
It's one of the tools in our tool belt for sure.
Yeah, it's like 1A, 1B. I can't ask, to choose one because I feel I'm losing a part of myself if I do. So I love to keep both parts, but they come from the same place. And that's the whole thing about what you do, what I do, what everybody that comes here and shows up and is part of what we do is, again, so vital of why I love having these conversations and I never get tired of it because I do find that no matter what, we always find that our community, our people, everybody that shows up here for us, they kind of help. Not only do we help them, but they help us. They develop us as well. They give us something back, and that's why I'm always grateful for my guests. I'm always grateful for the people that show up here, and I'm always grateful just for community in general and people who love to spend their times who could be doing thousand
Yes,
different
they
things.
make a choice to be with us, right? That's huge. Like
That's
that says, oh, people make a choice to be here.
that's the gold. That is the
Yeah.
gold, and that's where you have to go and make sure that you make them feel like we're just sitting around at a table and having a conversation, and it could be a cup of coffee in front of us. And there's, I mean,
Well, and that's exactly what happens in the comments, right? You're part of this conversation. That's why I love live, because you're part of this conversation in real time.
yeah,
Although Jacob, I don't know. All right, Jacob,
yes,
I am bowing to you right now,
yes.
and I've got to look at where they were because Jacob said something about how, hang on.
Hey, if I could have SpongeBob on
Gabe
the
likes it
show,
fun, but he likes it deep too.
I do.
Um, Jacob, real, raw, and deep. Yes, thank you, Jacob.
True.
You're helping. You're
You're
helping.
helping.
But
You're
that's the thing. But
hashtag
those
love live.
hashtag you're helping. But he is truly,
Yes.
truly. We're joking
Okay.
around, but it is,
So
and it's the people that show up.
yeah,
I don't know how to say it in any other way, but you show up.
yeah.
And I always say we know each other's hearts. So if you can't show up one time, don't feel bad about it. We know, like, you're all out there living life and being human. I'm, part of the time I'm the chick with the tool belt. Part of the time I am a speech language pathologist at a public school system at a middle school. I am in private practice. I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. I'm a friend. We all are out there doing our best. And that's it. Please assume the best of one another. Please, please, please. And for anyone who's not connected, who's been in the comments, get connected. This is truly a special community. I came to LinkedIn and found a community I didn't know I had and a family I didn't know I needed, or vice versa. Either way, they're
Either way,
both true. It's both true. I was that person who was alone during the pandemic. I live alone with 2 cats.
I don't.
Like,
Yes.
I had lots of great, deep philosophical conversations with my cats. It's not quite the same.
It's not the same. Yes.
It's not the same.
You
And
know.
so again, like, I love being there with people as the chick with the tool belt, as Nancy, as a
Yeah.
friend,
It's
as a
just. It's
sister,
just as
for
Miss
those aha
Nancy.
moments to discover our voices. There's nothing more powerful
Oh,
than
absolutely.
that.
Okay, so before we get wrapped up out of here,
Oh
let's
no.
close up a few things. Number one, I know you wanted to mention this as well, and I'll mention it because they've been a sponsor of the show before. We're going to talk a little bit, just real quickly, about our buddy Mr. Daniel Hall and what he's been doing with Peekaboo, because I love what it does for live streamers. We got a couple live streamers coming on the next 2 episodes, so I hope they find this interesting. But tomorrow, before I finish this up tomorrow, our guest for tomorrow's show is going to be none other than Mr. Chris Hennessy himself, Mr. Live Streamer, Hit Productions. He will be here tomorrow evening in the hot seat. So, but we'll talk about Peekaboo because, again, we're, as a live stream creator, and especially here on the LinkedIn platform, we get so much out of it. So, kind of tell us a little bit about how that has been part of what your journey has been with you and both Mr. Shulman when you guys were doing the shout out Saturdays and What's Good Wednesday, and Mr. Hall was showing up over there.
Well, Dan Hall is a tremendous human being. He's talented on so many levels, and just I learn from him every day. He has a beautiful heart and soul and spirit. And, when Brian and I and Tim, when he was producing, when we would do shout out Saturday, I'd write down everybody who showed up so that we could then shout them out, send a message, do something. And, a 4-hour show, it took just as long to take care of everything afterwards. And, Dan, talking to Dan, he has come up with, the thing about Peekaboo is it's so people centered. And for whether you're a live streamer, because there's the product that works, Peekaboo works for live streams, it works for static posts, it looks at longitudinal. But what it does is, that time, it gave me that time back rather than having that extra 2-3 hours, right? I can connect easily. I love that it allows us to focus from human to human. And it really gives us the ability to really listen to our tribe. I recently posted how, like, when I get a notification from a live show and I go click on it, I have to go to the beginning of the show, which makes it really hard to engage with people, right?
Yes.
It just, it's a barrier. So this is taking away one of those barriers. And there's been a humbling pattern, and Dan talked about this in a recent post. It's shifting from vanity to reality, and it's going, really, the mental health of our tribe gets to be front and center. One of the statistics, one of the data points that they generate that I love is, when's the last time someone was at your show? Because
Yes.
we want to look for that pattern. You've got that person that's there, they're dropping off, or they suddenly disappear. I just, you I don't want those people to ever fall through the cracks. I don't want those people to ever feel forgotten, or like when they don't show up, it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
because that's the opposite of it. And, Peekaboo is the first tool in the world to show you how much time your tribe is investing in you and how much time out of their lives, like we said, they choose to be here, right, with us, not just us as the person who made the post or the live streamer. It ditches those vanity metrics. Don't worry about those numbers, as we've been saying, and it gets you like what's really happening here. And it really is allowing people on both sides to be heard. And for those reasons and so many more, it is why I am so proud to be the co-founder
Yes.
of Peekaboo, which for the last little bit, Dan's been the face of Peekaboo because he does the data. And he and I have been working together. I've known him for quite some time now, met him through his son Parker, and together, we co-founded Peekaboo because, yes, I'm known as the Queen of Engagement, and I want everybody to be able to do that as seamlessly as possible while being able to spend time with their community on and offline, be able to attend to things in their life that bring them joy, including what they do online and offline. And so it's like, there's nothing out there like this. And to be part of developing it and providing that to the community of LinkedIn is something, that it's been really hard for me to about.
Yeah.
So it's breaking news, Gabe. Actually, this is the first time I've actually come from behind the curtain to let people know that I'm a part of Peekaboo, and that I'm so incredibly proud of that. And grateful for the partnership that I have with Dan, because together I really feel like incredible things are happening.
Good. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. So, good news are on the horizon, folks. And yes, Mr. Dan Hall, it does sound great. So, guys, if you're not connected with Mr. Hall, or if you're interested in finding out what Peekaboo is, reach out to him, or now you can reach out to Nancy, and I'm pretty sure they might be able to help you figure out how they can get you started on the path and how it can be very helpful. And
I know you've used it as well, and that's
yes,
why
so
you've experienced it yourself.
absolutely. So, any closing thoughts before we get out of here? I know that you have a show tomorrow, so I don't know if you want to talk about it real briefly, and then we'll get out of here and close shop for the day.
Yes, I want to invite all of you. Hang on, buried in this desk somewhere. What's Good Wednesday, Shout Out Saturday. They're weekly live shows, and they are a space for community to gather, and it's about gratitude and positivity. And certainly we have space to support people who need our positivity. You don't have to just come because everything's great. If you need some positivity, come join us. Let's see if I can do this.
There you go. Look at there.
There you go. And we are every Wednesday live on Brian Schulman's channel here on LinkedIn at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And again, every Saturday for Shout Out Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you want to know where to find us, you can scan that handy dandy little QR code.
Yes.
And that will give you... Jen Russman, I'm hiding behind this so I can actually look at the comments now. I'm just going to hold this up there for a while. But we'd love to see you. And one of the things about our shows, we don't book guests. You want to be live, come be live.
Come be live.
Come on. Yeah, come on. Anytime you want that we're
I've been on
live.
there, so yes, it's true.
It's your first time.
This is my first time. So tomorrow if I join, it'll be my first time.
Yes, exactly. So we encourage everyone to join us, tag someone, come have some fun. I mean, literally on Saturday mornings, I'm there in my pajamas. We're there in our pajamas. So just
hanging out.
Again,
we're just there.
Yeah, well, I actually just got home from work and can't wait to be in my pajamas, but very soon. So yes, please join us for Shout Out Saturday and What's Good Wednesday.
Yes.
please keep your eyes open for everything happening with Peekaboo. We've loved the feedback we've gotten from people. And if you are looking to find your voice, if you're frustrated because the content you're putting out there isn't getting you the response that you are hoping for, you're not building the community that you know you're capable of building, please reach out. As the Chick with the Toolbelt, it is my absolute honor and privilege to journey with people and take those steps with them. So please, please, please. And if we're not connected, please, please reach out. Just say you saw me here tonight, and we can be bringing wonderfulness to each other's lives, living, learning, and growing together.
That's right, Jacob. Bet. That's it.
Bet. Yes, Jacob's so cool.
He is so cool. So, okay. So guys, there you go. Connect with Miss Nancy Deborah Barrows. You can go find her on LinkedIn, of course. And then I will drop in the show afterwards, all the links to find her on her social media platforms as well. And then tomorrow you can also check out What's Good Wednesday, airing at 9. Is it 9 p.m.?
I only know my time. You don't want me to do time zone conversion.
Okay, tell me your time.
We can talk about limitations. I don't know my math. I don't know my times tables by heart.
Okay.
And I don't do time conversion, zone conversion. I can tell you it's 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Okay, 6. Yes, it is. So it is 9 p.m. Eastern. You can check out What's Good Wednesday, folks. Go hang out. It's fun. They do a lot of fun, interesting things. Alvin's been there the last few weeks. It's fun to hang out.
Get started.
So, it's just fun. It's a really great environment. And gosh, there's just so many cool things that happen. So thank you. Thank you so much, Nancy, for coming on the show, being guest number 2. Crazinesses, and now I have 98 more to go.
Only 98 more to go.
98 more to go.
You got this.
So we got 98 more to get to, but you helped that number go down 1 more. So thank you so much for coming on the show. I really, really do appreciate you taking the time. So
pleasure is all mine.
Absolutely. Anytime. So before we get out of here again, guys, tomorrow, again, just to kind of reiterate, tomorrow's guest was actually in the chat tonight. You can go check out his profile as well, Mr. Christopher Hennessy, the Wonder Beard himself. Check it out. We're gonna talk about beards. We're gonna talk about live streaming. We're gonna talk about prison food. I don't know. We're just gonna talk about crazy shit tomorrow. So tune in, guys, if you want to hear all of those things tomorrow with my buddy, Mr. Chris. Well, you guys know him as Chris. I call him Christopher. Chris Hennessy. He will be our guest for tomorrow evening. So on that note, folks, we have had another wonderful show. I do appreciate, again, everybody who's been showing up in the comments, guys. You, again, like I always say, are the lifeblood of what we do here on the show. And without you, none of this is possible. So, and even look, we got our guest. She couldn't wait to get in the comments and chat. She couldn't even wait to get it. She was like, the moment I get off the screen, I'm going to start getting in the chat. So, but we love it. We want to appreciate everybody for being here. And I do appreciate, again, this LinkedIn family, guys. You guys are amazing. And just being here every single, showing up so far the last 2 days, and however many days you guys show up, I will just be very appreciative of this family and this crew and this community, because without it, again, none of this is possible. So I'm very thankful for every single one of you guys. And we will be back again tomorrow evening, 8:15 Eastern Standard Time, 7:15 with our guest, again, Mr. Christopher Hennessy. So until tomorrow evening, folks, you guys stay safe, stay blessed. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and we'll talk again soon. So until then, good night, everybody. Thank you.